This is an updated video for deck construction assignment 1. We're going to create the frame of the deck. There's just a few key things that you have to know about this assignment. We're going to be using 2x10s, which in real life measure 1.5 by 9.5. We're going to be using the lumber pile, which is part of what necessitated the updated video. Previously we were drawing our own boards. With the advent of the lumber pile file that can be found in the library section of our EDSB page, it eliminates any chance that the wood used sizes are incorrect. So we're going to use the lumber pile. Once again, 2x10 in real life, 1.5 by 9.5. We're going to be creating a deck which is approximately 25 feet wide and 16 feet long. Now those sizes are approximate. Give or take a foot or two. The reasoning is to eliminate the possibility that someone's just going to create a very, very small deck. And our spacing between the boards is going to be 12 inches. Okay, on center or from beginning to beginning, depending how you interpret that. Okay. So I'm going to go over to SketchUp. I've already imported my lumber pile. All the different boards here are labeled. There's our 2x10s. There's our 4x4, which we'll use in a later assignment for the deck. So there's a lot of different ways you can go about this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start out with a rectangle, 25 feet by 16 feet, just to give me a rough idea. Now you can choose to keep the inside or you can get rid of it. It's up to you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my longest 2x10 here, which is 16 feet long. And I'm going to first do the front and the back. Okay, so let's highlight that. Before we go too far, let's make that unique. I'd like to keep my lumber pile intact, so by making it unique, it makes sure that the lumber pile kind of stays as it should. Let's see. We're going to rotate that 90. And what I'd like to do, and it's mentioned in the instructions, I'd like the front board and the back board to span across the front, okay? And you'll see what I mean in just a sec. Okay, so now the instruction mentions different board sizings, staggering. With the update, we've decided that as the designer, you don't necessarily have to get into board sizing. That's going to be left up to the person creating the deck itself. So we're just going to pull that board and we're going to make it span the overall length. Okay. And let's grab another board over here. Okay. Please note that I'm grabbing it by the corner. And I'm dropping it off by the corner like so. SketchUp wants to kind of grab it. Okay, so for this one, what we're going to do, first we make it unique, then we're going to edit this component. I'm going to just go from here to here, and let's push this. Actually, let's undo, well, let's get rid of that, but I made a mistake. We want this whole board to be out of the way, like so. We do not want to have board overlap. If you have board overlap, you would lose marks for that, okay? Now what I was talking about with the boards in the front and the back, when you look at the deck like this, you want to just see the board rather than this junction, okay? So you want the front board and the back board to span from left to right, okay? Okay, now let's grab this board over here, and we're going to bring it over to the end, like so. Now this is our basic shape. Now if we go back to our instructions, there is a lower portion. So part of the instruction mandates that somewhere, somehow, there has to be a lower level, okay? Now the size of that lower level is up to you. So what we can do is we can look at this here. Now I would go with nominal numbers, meaning like even numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to do maybe is I'm going to say, let's get my tape measure out. And it could be anywhere. That lower level can be in the front, the back, the side. It could be the entire front, the entire side, is up to you. So here's what I'll do. Let's just go up here. Let's say, let's go up. And I'm going to go up, let's say 10 feet. Okay. And there's 10 feet. So I'm going to bring that around here. And let's bring it down. And let's go over, let's say another 10 feet. Okay. Keep our numbers even. Okay, that's going to be our lower level. Once again, you can put this lower level in the middle, in the other side, you can put it in the back, you can have the whole front, the whole side, it's up to you. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to trim these boards to accommodate. So let's make this unique. Let's edit this component. Now, I'm not sure if you're paying attention. When I created these lines, I was not doing it inside edit component mode, so it's outside the active. So I've got to recreate that line and do it in edit component mode. Okay, let's cruise over here. Let's activate this, make it unique. Edit this component. Oops, just a little off. And there we go. Let's push this out of the way. Make sure I'm okay. I slipped out of edit component mode for a sec there. My apologies. Okay, now you've got the outline for your lower level. Now, I want to just start with creating this. There's a spot here that there's a tendency for people to lose a mark. And let's eliminate that possibility by highlighting the right way to do it. Okay, so we're going to go to the back here because once again, we want the front board to span across the front. This board sits next to the end of that board, okay? Where some people lose marks is what they do is this. They put it right here underneath. That's not the way to do it. The reason being is the boards that go on the top need something to screw onto. And if it's underneath the other boards, that can't take place. Okay, let's trim this board up. We're going to make that unique. Going to come edit this component. Let's grab our push-pull option, and we'll push this out of the way. Wonderful. Okay. And let's grab another board. We're going to put it in the front, and we're going to put it in the back. Let's see. We'll just go like so. Make it unique before we get too far. Okay. Okay. Now we want this to span across the front. Let's edit this component. Let's get rid of this portion here. Okay, now we do want the board to sit on the outside once again, so we don't lose any marks. Just to make everything even, let's push this in 1.5 inches so that the back board and the front board are the same. Now, if you chose the back board, if you chose to not do that, you would not lose marks necessarily. Oops. If you trimmed it, but it still has to sit outside of the other board. It just this way, it makes all the boards the same. Oops, we didn't quite get a good quality copy on that one. Let's make sure we're not eliminating boards. Okay, now let's copy this over, like so. Okay, now we've got our rough outline of our deck. Now what we have to do is we have to create the interior supports, and they're going to be spaced 12 inches on center or from beginning to beginning. Okay. Now, because I made this board a little shorter, it means I can use this board to go all the way across. Otherwise, that would not be the case. So let's go over here. We'll start with the bottom. And let's make this blue, just to eliminate any kind of issues. Holding Control. And as I move away, I'm letting go. Now, I am not clicking on the left button on my mouse. I'm just keeping it on that line. I'm now keying in 12 quotation mark inches. Now I spaced that 12 inches. Now what I want to do is to save time, while it's still blue, I'm going to hit X. Now I'm going to guess how many boards will fit inside there, okay? So it was 10 feet, I don't know, let's go with 13. Enter, okay. Now you've got 13 copies that are 12 inches apart. Obviously we've got too many, but it's better to have too many than too little. Okay, so that's how you would go about creating those spaces. Now I'm going to do the same thing over here. The only thing is, I only want to go with these very long boards to here, okay? Now also what I want to do is, I'm not completely finished with my framing. I got a little bit ahead of myself, but that's okay. I'm going to go like so. Let's copy this one over. And we're going to go to there. And let's grab a board, and let's grab this board here. Okay, and we're going to put that board over there. Once again, notice this lower board sticks out. It's not underneath the upper board. That's really important. Okay, so let's trim these up so that we can finish creating the internal supports. Okay, we're going to edit that. We're going to go here to here. Okay. That board's done. Now this one just requires a tiny bit of a trim, but we're going to make it unique before we do that, because we did borrow it. Let's get in edit component mode. And eliminate that overlap, which would create a mark loss. Okay. Now, let's grab our tape measure really quick, just to give us a rough estimate what kind of size we're looking at for this. It's approximately, just a little under 15 feet. It'll help with my guess, maybe, as far as how many copies to create. So the last one was 10 feet. I went with 13. That was too many. So let's try to get a little closer. Okay. So let's key in. So what I did was I held Control. I hit the left button. I let go of Control as I was moving away. I'm going to go 12 inches. Enter. I'm going to go X. Let's go with 16. Enter. X 16. There's a couple too many. let's go here and here. Okay. Now for structural reasons, let's see, here's what we'll do. Let's just get out our tape measure here, and I'm going to measure over, let's see, just put it on there, type in 12 inches, enter, and we've got our mark. Okay. So we can continue in a uniform way. Okay, just like so. Let's make that unique and edit that component. Okay, like so. And we can just go here and then boom. Okay. Okay, so that's approximately a 10-foot span. Last time I went with 13 was too many. So let's first key in our 12 inches, enter. Then X, let's go with 11, enter. See if I got a little closer. Well, I'm closer. Okay, so let's eliminate the ones that we do not need. Okay, now that sums up deck assignment 1.